What happens when the son of one of China's most notorious communist leaders, a man jailed for corruption, lies, and even murder cover ups, ends up partying through Harvard, graduating with honors, and staying in America? Does he become a critique of authoritarianism? Does he fight for freedom, democracy, or reform? No. He logs onto Twitter and starts running defense for the same regime that imprisoned his own father. This is the story of Bo Guagua, the Princeling of the Chinese Communist Party. And it's a story that says everything about the sick love affair between Howard and the CCP elite. This isn't just about one kid. This is about power, money, infiltration, and how American institutions are selling out their values to global authoritarianism, one Ivy League diploma at a time. Bo Guagua was born into the CCP aristocracy. His father, Bo Xilai, was on the fast track to the very top of Chinese politics, a so-called Red Prince, descended from the revolutionary royalty. His mother, Bo Xilai, was a high-powered lawyer. This wasn't a rags to riches story. This was a red carpet from birth. And Bo Guagua, he soaked it all in. British boarding schools, Oxford, and then the crown jewel, Harvard Kennedy School, arguably the world's top training ground for future global leaders. But how did he get there? We're not talking about a kid known for groundbreaking research, service, or anything remotely resembling merit. We're talking about someone best known for his Ferrari joyrides, lavish parties, black tie galas, and tabloid headlines. In China, he was an elite. In the UK, a curiosity. And in the US, somehow a Harvard man. Meanwhile, back in China, the Bo family dynasty was falling apart fast. In 2012, Bo Xilai was brought down in one of the most explosive political scandals in CCP history. He was accused of widespread corruption, torture of political enemies, abuse of power, and complicity in a murder cover-up involving his wife. He was later sentenced to life in prison, a fate usually reserved for those who lost the party's internal power struggle. This wasn't just a fall from grace, it was a purge. You would think that would reflect badly on the Howard-bound son, right? Wrong. Bo Guagua didn't just escape scrutiny, he thrived. While Chinese activists and journalists were getting arrested for even mentioning the case, Bo Guagua was sitting pretty in Cambridge, dining with deans and tweeting out quotes from Confucius. No cause for justice, no personal reckoning, no apology. Just another day at the Ivy League. Here's where the bigger problem comes in. Howard didn't just admit Bo Guagua. They protected him. They gave him the diplomatic immunity of elite academia. No tough questions, no accountability, just the silence and access. Because when you have the right last name, the right connections, and the right bank account, the rules don't apply. Harvard likes to brand itself as a meritocracy, but in practice, it is a soft power embassy for foreign elites. It's not just Bo Guagua. Take a closer look at who is walking through the graduation stages. CCP Princelings, Saudi royals, Russian oligarch heirs, and yes, children of Chinese officials, tied to censorship, human rights abuse, and industrial espionage. These are not kids fleeing tyranny. They are agents of status quo power, being polished and credentialed by America's top schools. And while this happens, working class American kids are being told to check their privilege, while they're literally checking IDs at the campus gates. Let's go back to Bo Guagua. His father is now in prison. His family disgraced. He's now living in the US with a Harvard degree in his back pocket. So what does he do? You might expect a bit of humility and gratitude for the West, right? Maybe an embrace of free speech, maybe a bold stand against authoritarianism. Nope. Instead, Bo becomes what can only be described as a soft power asset for the regime that destroyed his own family. His ex-Twitter account, still active, is a bizarre mix of philosophical quotes and subtle defense of Chinese governance. No mention of China needs rule of law, no word on the censorship, no criticism of Xi Jinping's cult of personality. In fact, Bo Guagua has publicly suggested that Western critics simply don't understand China, that democracy may not be right for Chinese people. The irony is so thick, to be drawn in. He gets sanctuary in a democracy and then uses that freedom to defend the system that crushed his own blood. This entire mess is now part of a much bigger battle. Who gets into elite American institutions and why? Donald Trump and conservative lawmakers are already targeting Harvard for discriminating against Asian Americans and favoring legacy admits. But now the question is shifting. Why are we giving preferential treatment to the children of CCP elites, while hardworking American students are told to take out six-digit loans and pray for admission? This isn't about nationalism, it's about common sense. Why are we educating and in many cases, fail to educate the sons and daughters of authoritarian regimes that actively undermine the United States? And why are institutions like Harvard so eager to play along? The answer, as always, is money and influence. International students, especially from China, pay full tuition. Their families fund new buildings. Their connections open doors to the world's wealthiest networks. But at what cost? Bo Guagua is not just a footnote in some CCP scandal. He is the canary in the coal mine, a symbol of how American higher education has become a prestige factory for the world's least democratic regimes. It's not about knowledge, it's all about access. It's not about values, it's about networks. It's not about building a better world, it's about training the next generation of global elites. No matter how corrupt, compromised, and authoritarian their bloodline may be. Bo Guagua got into Harvard while American families were left behind. He stayed in America while his father rotted in a prison cell in China. And now he's using his Ivy League glow up to defend the very system that is jailing his family. That's not just ironic, it's dangerous. If you believe America should stop selling out its institutions to foreign regions, if you think Harvard should be educating future leaders, not future tyrants, if you believe in merit over money, freedom over influence, then do me a favor. Subscribe, smash that like button, and share this video with someone who still thinks Harvard stands for truth and meritocracy. Because the real truth, it's for sale. And Bo Guagua is the proof.